joining this course, which I'm sure you'd all agree is a worthy one. Aziz, could you just move to the next slide? So one of the key things for us is, as much as we want to try and impact knowledge, we also hope that majority of the beneficiaries from such webinars would also extend this chain of knowledge and share the knowledge that they've gained and the skills that they have acquired towards the good of mankind. We're currently made up of a core team of 6 individuals who are all on the call. Aziz is one of us. Gabriel Lukunwole, Tayo Fatoki, Lale Oshunsoya, and Oluwatobi, who would most likely be speaking to you much later in the course of the webinar. Mic check. Can you hear me, Aziz? I'm saying
yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes. So for us, we want to make this as interactive as possible. Yes, we're a bit pressed for time. Yesterday, unfortunately, some people missed out because of the communication in time, like the time communication. So because we skipped including the time in the email that went out, some of us missed the, but we'll try, I'm sure Aziz will try to at least cover up. We would also be sharing the a link to the recordings on our social media platforms, and perhaps we'll do an email to each and every one of you with the link to the videos. So we hope that you have a pleasant experience, and we hope that you follow us and you look out for the upcoming, the future series, because we've got quite a bit in stock. There will be a whole lot more of such trainings, not specific to data science, but across the whole tech space. I think that's about it. We've got quite a bit to cover. So Aziz, back to you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the webinar yesterday. And I hope it was impactful and was interesting as it was for me. And for the new joiners, first thing, I think Martin's already talked about that we will be sharing this on our YouTube channel and also on LinkedIn and I think Twitter. And for all the participants to share the link where you can even download directly if you need to just follow. However, the plan is to just run you through both the presentation slides and also the hands-on class, what we're able to cover before we closed up. And I think after this session again, Tayo, correct me if I'm wrong, we would share a certificate of participant to everyone on the call. And also, maybe not immediately after the call, you may get an email from us to give us feedback, just so we know what how to do to make all of these plans better, and suggestions too. So like my colleague Oluwatobi, my co-member rightly said yesterday, that you may want to join, and if you feel like not joining, you can please help share with the tech space that anyone interested, and also you can just be a volunteer as regards sharing ideas, and that's it. If you don't want to be a full participant, you can give suggestions or not. I think via the same email. My co-member would shed more light later during the course of the training. So going straight into it, we talked about evolution of BI. Like I said, apologies. We would just give summary of all of these things that we discussed yesterday, just so we have we are 10 minutes into the 2 hours, and the plan is to start by 12:15. Although I'm not sure we can cover in 5 minutes, but I'll just give summary of it. And if you want the full class, just go through the link and you get all of that. So we said BI, we discussed yesterday that data science is a broad area. And for the purpose of everyone on the call, we know there are different people from different areas and worksphere. We have people we even have some entrepreneurs on the call. And we say, in as much you are doing one form of business, trading or sort of services, you generate data as low as even the barbers out there. Data science is for everyone, right? So, and we discussed yesterday that the very first component, the first layer of data science is what we call business intelligence. And what is that? Well, it means a system or a software that allows you to bring data together from disparate sources into one single repository, and where you can just gain insight from. A system that allows you to make informed decisions. And we talked about this since yesterday as comparing two big organizations, and the reason why one is doing other than the other one is that the ability to make prompt decision. And gave scenarios of GT tapping into USSD before any other person, because they saw that there was a need for them to clear out the issue of congestion in the branch. So going straight into it, I broke this into the evolution of BI. Before now, several years ago, before you can get insight into what you are doing, you probably wait for 3-4 days. Another thing, what you're mentioning is that for most of the organization, there's a standard performance management report that you're supposed to know your balances, your balance sheets, and your profits, if you're making profit or loss. In most of the organization, you probably do not have this insight every day. You need to wait till maybe end of month before you can do a couple of things. So I can see someone is trying to raise up their hand. Martins, you, as usual, once there's something I need to attend to.
Not a problem. Please feel free, guys, if you could just leave a message on the chat for now, so that we could just take it without disrupting the flow.
Right. So I was talking about the performance management, like the MPR, that will tell you if an organization is making profits or is at loss, that you probably need to wait till end of month, or even sometimes it goes into the second week into the following month before you can see that actual insights. So it means that if you are lost, if there are things that you're supposed to do, you have to wait till you see that figure before you do it. So what BI comes into place in scenarios like that, where you can even break all of these processes, where you see these things near real time. Is that you see it T-1, H-1, seconds -1. By that, I'm saying, as we speak, you probably know your position as at close of business yesterday, that's T-1. As we speak, you know H-1, which is the last hour, maybe as at 11 a.m. what has happened, and right now to maybe a second, depending on how available those source systems are. So at that time, that was the problem, which is the corporate BI. Everyone would rely on the IT people to spool out all of this data to give you the insights. The second wave, which is what we call, analyst to end user, we call self-service BI. So all of this evolved, and we got to a level where there's a certain unit that we call BI units that are focused on just analyzing the data for an organization, even you as an individual, in as much you have a business that you're generating. So any form of business, you have a BI unit that are focused on this. That's another angle, and we call it self-service BI. At the end of the day, there's still some sort of dependency. All of it, it's just the analysts that will have access to all of this thing. I'm happy to tell you that we are in the third wave, and it's for everyone. We call it end user BI. You don't need to depend on everyone. If you see all of the icons that we have there, anywhere you are in the world, you are chilling everywhere for maybe on holiday, trainings, or somewhere you are several kilometers away from where the data or the system is. You are getting output and analyzing your data so that you can make quick decisions. So what are the needs of these end users? First thing first, you want to be able to have access to your data. You want it very clean. You don't want dirty data. You want it all matched up. Remember, I said BI allows you to have bring these disparate sources of data. So, for example, you have. I'll still use a bank, even telco. I can use telco today. Normal MTN would have customers onboarded on different platforms. So you probably, in some cases, they will probably tell you to walk into a store to go and open, to buy a SIM. You have different sources where you can get your customers. So as an organization, you want to see a 360-degree view. In some cases now, we are even talking about 720 degrees view of your customer. So it means that from those, there are different behaviors from different source systems. But you want to be able to mash up this data sources just so you can get your insight at a single view. Also, you want to be able to explore that data. What are these things? What the data points that you have? How can I get insight out of it? And to be able to visualize it. So, for example, Segun Agbaje would never be interested in bringing systems together. No. I mean, executives and the decision makers wants to see figures, and figures are well read when you have a pie chart, a bar chart, pictorial view telling you a story. We were this as last month, and now we are this. What can we become? I mean, the what ifs analysis and all sorts. So you want to be able to share. You're seeing it as an analyst. You're seeing this as a team lead. You want to be able to share with your team members that this is what what data is saying about us. How can we improve and get better? So you can share and collaborate. All of these needs, I'm happy to tell you, Microsoft Power BI can do this and more. So on this screen, you have just a standard flow. I'll just walk through it. To the top left, you have different the disparate sources I spoke about. It could be cloud. Even on cloud, you could have 4 different channels. On-premise to Power BI will allow you to pass all of this data, and you have the output. There's a mobile app for this Power BI. You can export back to Excel and do all of this, and even embed it to some of the systems that you have as an organization. Right? Power BI gives access to more than 100 data sources, organization on-premises, Azure, Excel file, even on web. If you have websites that have data embedded on them, so for example, abokifx.com and all sorts, you can get data just by writing the URL, and then it gives you insight into it. I spoke about this already, that there are the 4 steps. You prepare the data, you explore, visualize, and collaborate. All of this, we talked about this yesterday. You can go through the video, and doing the hands-on to all of these things will make more sense. Also, what are the things that you can do on Microsoft Power BI? First thing first, you have the real-time dashboards, which is the second minus one I spoke about. As things are happening on the real source system, you are seeing it moving and telling you what is happening to your product or your services, and you can make those decisions real quick. Natural language query, what this means is you ask, you ask normal, like natural language, English language query to say, for example, how much did we make yesterday? And it comes to you and give you a certain figure, not by writing any code, any Python, SQL, anything, just typing, as if we are talking to a bot or even human beings. So custom visualization, it's an open tool. You can build your customized visualization to speak to what you want and so on. I spoke about this already, and straight into it. You can just get all of this, get inside quickly. Yes, this is a very important one. So a lot of people ask this question, that how secure is this tool if I'm going to be putting my data and all this. So it's the largest global footprint when it comes to Security Alliance, UK securities, 34 primary and backup data centers worldwide, and it speaks more than 43 languages and also. So there's a quadrant that we call Gartner quadrants, not just for anything analytics or data, beyond IT, but is a respected Magic Quadrants it's a platform that gives some level of assurance on systems and solutions that we have in the IT space. So it breaks them into what we call challengers, leaders, visionaries, and niche players. And I'm happy to tell you, Microsoft Power BI, 11 years running back to back, has been a leader in the space of analytics and BI. And also for data management solutions too, they've been a leader. You see them up there. So you can check all of this out there, just so you know that you're learning the best of the best, right? You can join the thriving community. I spoke about this community.powerbi.com just to share ideas and be on top of information. There's also user groups everywhere in the world. Right, different use cases. There are free ebooks that would share to send all of this to your email. So now it's time to build our report and dashboard. For the people just joining, there are a couple of files that we sent yesterday. 4 key ones. There's an Excel sheet. You are meant to download and install the Power BI desktop application. There's a logo, and also there's a PDF file that is a guide to the answer. Right. Any question on this before we just go into it? 10 minutes. Wow.
Guys, feel free to just unmute your mic and ask a question.
If you have a question now, I can take based on what I've said so far. So if not, I'm going to pull this off and take the class. Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Hello, Olayinka.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for yesterday. I was part of the training yesterday. But I have a little challenge. I'm actually using my company laptop to run the course, so to say, and I wanted to run the Power BI system. So it was asking for admin password, so which means I won't be able to install the Power BI system. So I don't know if there's any possibility for me to do it outside of running it through the link that was sent via the mail. Thank you.
If I got that correctly, you're saying there's a restriction on the system you're using to do the hands-on, and you can't install, right, Olayinka?
Yes.
Okay, so you're asking if there's a possibility. I mean, you're asking if we could guide you when you're doing it on maybe another system later, or after you resolve the admin rights issue.
So what I'm asking is if there's any possibility for me to get the Power BI on my system without having to go through anything that requires for admin password.
No. That's a system. It's your system restriction issue, security issue. So there's nothing we can do to that until you get an admin right before you can install. It's not a Power BI thing.
Yeah, of course I know.
All right.
So there's no portable version. You have to install it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. You can launch the PDF file called DIAH. So DIAH stands for Dashboard in an Hour. And if you want to test your skills too, once we are done with this, you can just try to go through this system and see if you can complete it in 1 hour. Again, I'll just run us through what we did yesterday. Apologies to people that are just joining today, just so we can cover what we plan to do. Okay, the content of this file has problem statements saying the kind of data they've put together and what are they looking at achieving with the data. Document structure is what is contained in the data, what those data means, the Excel sheet. And prerequisites is what you need to have in place before you can start to do all of these things. After that, it's just the things, the major agenda as regards what you need to learn on how to use Microsoft Power BI. Right. Another thing I mentioned yesterday, and I also say it today again, is that Power BI has 2 major components. First one being PBID, and the other one being PBIS. PBID means Microsoft Power BI Desktop, and PBIS stands for Power BI Service. And I'll explain. The desktop is used for authoring. Creating reports, the dashboards, the tables, the pie charts, and all. And the service layer gives you that ability to share, collaborate, and just get the insight. So the standard way is if you have a team of X number of people, maybe 1 person or more would be the one in charge of creating. For example, an organization of maybe 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000, maybe a team of 10 people would be in charge of creating a report, and they will give access to the rest of the 100,000 or 1,000, as the case may be. So that the place where those 10 people would create those reports is what we call the PBID, which is the one we are working with today. It's free for all, and it's just it's local to the authorizer. I mean the creator of the reports. And once the person is done, he now shares it to a cloud service that is attached to it, which is not free. It's a paid service that you can that is attached to a corporate email, and I think you can even sign up. You can sign up for a 60-day trial version to just so you see what you can do there. When we get there, I'll show you the difference and the possibilities and the need for the service. Although the same way we have Excel now, if you build some reports or dashboard, or you have even normal regular data sets that you want to share with your colleagues, there's a way you can either drop it in SharePoint or you send it via email. You can do the same thing as the Power BI desktop. Same way we have an extension of XLS. You can have an extension of the PBIX, which you can just attach via email, or you export to PDF from the desktop. You can work with Power BI without the service layer. So what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to subscribe for the $10 per month for the service layer. Okay, so we'll go through the plan, which is how to get data from those source systems into Power BI, how to manage relationships, very important. How to create reports, import reports, do the Q&A that is natural language, share reports, and even a mobile app. Right, the problem statement. Yes, the data set that we'll have, we'll go to the Excel to see, but let me just run us through it. The data set that we'll have is focused on sales and market share analysis. So we have a data set of 4 sheets. We have one of, I think it's best I just show it now. Right. Okay. If you open the Excel sense, if you check, yours will not be highlighted like this. I highlighted this yesterday to explain the part. So we have the sales table, the product table, the geo table, and the date table. On the sales table, that has 5 columns. What this highlighted record means is that for a certain product that is 560, that 560 represents a certain item. So for example, imagine this data being for maybe a supermarket, and you're saying a 560 represents maybe a diaper or soap, as the case may be. But just seeing numbers, you cannot even say what 560 represents. So, and on the second column, you have dates. So he's saying an item 560 was bought on the 18th of February 2016 at a certain location with the zip code 95124, and 1 unit of that item was bought at the value of $700.8. That is what that first record depicts. So we are now saying this is not so detailed enough. What if I want to see the total sales made for just that product, or for a particular day, or for a particular location? So any table you see that is like this, that has just numbers and shows you the certain figures and relationships with that table, is what we call a fact table. We have a fact table, we have a dimension table. I explained yesterday. A fact table is a table that just shows the metrics and measures, while the other tables, the products, the geo, and the date, any table that further describes that event, the actual event in this dimension, the W's, the what was bought, the where was it bought, I mean, and when did it happen, and all of that. Any data sets that further explains the W's at the dimensions, but there must be a relationship between those dimensions and the facts. When we get to the answer, it will become clearer, right? Okay. So I said that this type of analysis is meant for a CMO. A CMO means Chief Marketing Officer. So unlike the Chief Financial Officer, a CMO is focused not only on the performance internally, but also externally. I mean, how well are we doing against our competing products and competing organization? So the company that has the data that we are going to be working with is called Van Astel. and they are into expensive electronic products that could be used for fun as well as work. And it sells them directly to consumers in 3 major markets. It will become clearer when we get into it. So Van Aken and his competitors have retained a third-party marketing company. So we on the call at the third-party marketing company, they've tasked us to collect and anonymize industry sales data so that they can benchmark themselves. So we have the sales data, the product data, the date data, the geographic data. So data from these sources, we need to bring them together and we analyze them. That's the problem. So we have the data. They want to see how well they are doing, with what product is selling the most, what location is best for them to sell all this thing, and all. So that's what we're about to do. For the document structure, I already explained this. You need PBID and PBIS, which is the desktop where you create the report, and the service where you publish to. Prerequisites, we already had this, installed the Power BI desktop, have a system that is working, have the data sets in place and all. So that is all about it. So this was where we started the whole thing. So if you have this screen on page 5, to your left is the guide, step by step of what you're supposed to do. And to your right is the image. I mean, what your screen should look like. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Okay. Let me launch this again. I'll be quick about it. This should be, it should be a refresher for even the people that joined yesterday. I'll just go straight into it, and I'll employ the people that are just joining today to be to follow as fast as possible, please. Okay. Opa raised up his hand.
Hi, you can unmute your mic and ask your question quickly.
You can just quickly ask before we go pass into it, Oba, or anyone if you have any worry. So, like I said, apologies, guys. I mean, the people that joined yesterday, and of course, it will be a refresher for you too. And I won't waste so much time. I just wanted us to take us through how to get data, manage relationship, and create those 2 dashboards that we created yesterday. And everyone will be on the same page in the next maybe 5 minutes. Tayo would share the exercise data set for the COVID-19 so that you can try your hands once we are done with the course today. So the focus is just to even give you end-to-end basic knowledge on how to create reports and dashboards. And for exercises, there will be many of these. There will be a whole lot of different courses using different tools to achieve the same thing and every other thing. So we are sure we will not leave anything unattended. Right. So the first step is we want to get data. So if you launch your Power BI desktop, you should have a screen like this. And if you have this screen, kindly close by coming to this top area here. I don't know if you can see my screen where I did some form of annotation here. So click this X sign and close it out. So going straight into it, this white area is just where you have to create your reports. And you have this yellow part here is just like we have Excel. You see it's close to, this tool is just like a combination of many Microsoft tools, like the Microsoft Word, the Excel, the PowerPoint, the PDF. So same way we create extra sheets on Excel, you can do it here because this is the only working area you have for this page. Once you exhaust it, you have to create the other ones on other pages. The next pane, the next column is what we call filters. Filters is like a slicer, like a prompt that allows you to filter your reports to certain things that you are interested in seeing. So for example, if you have a dashboard that shows, like this one, we're about to do revenue for the entire industry, you may want to decide to filter it to a certain location. So you can do that, but there's something else that we call prompts. The difference is when you do filtering and you filter it to a certain location, it is static and casts, right? And The other one, which is prompts, is dynamic. You can change it. So even if you do it for a certain location now, and you want to see another location, you can drop it down, change that. So that's the difference. Visualization is the basic visualization default that comes with Microsoft Power BI. Although you can install more by going to the ellipsis underneath the entire thing. Go to get more visuals. It takes you to the website. Put your email, and you have thousands and hundreds and thousands of different visuals that speak to what you want to do. Right. And another important icon here is what we call format. This icon that looks like a paintbrush is an important one that allows you to do the formatting, the colorings, the font size, font type, and all sorts. So this is where you do all of that, and it's an important one. And I know most of you will enjoy all of that. So the top right is where we have fields. You see it's empty right now because we've not brought in any data. So once you bring in any data, each of those sheets that we have in Excel will now become different tables here. And every other thing is just the same way we have it on other Microsoft to edit, to change, to save, and all. But
yes, please.
Do you have a question, Mr. Wole?
No, sorry, my mistake. Sorry.
All right. So, just going straight into it, I know it will be hard for most of you to alternate your screens. Going to the PDF and doing the actual work. So I will implore you just do, and checking my screen too. So abandon your PDF right now, follow my screen, I'll follow those steps and just do the basic thing you want to do. First thing first, you have to get data. So we want to learn how to get the data. So there's a get data box to your top left. You see the get data icon. You click on it. You should have a prompt. A prompt like this. Remember during my presentation, I said over 100 data source systems are available. So in our case, it's just the Excel that we want. Apologies if I'm moving too fast. Go to get data, go to Excel, look for the Excel data sheet set that you downloaded. Try to pull it in. Right. All things being equal, once you double click on that Excel, you have a page like mine, and you have 4 different sheets. The 4 Excel, if you go to the Excel sheet, if you see it's with the exact name, which is the sales, the product, the geo, which is the location dimension, and the date. So once you have that, I'm seeing it here, but you have to check. You have to check the 4 of them. Make sure that you have these yellow icons, yellow background, because if you uncheck, it means that it goes back to white. Check the 4 of them. You have a preview of all of the data sets that you have. And for the purpose of this class too, we made some of these things dirty so that you see, if you see the methodology and the framework of all of these things, I think the step 2 means, and the end user name is cleaning. So we made this data dirty just so you see how to do some manipulations around deleting, updating, and inserting, and changing some of the things from data sets. So long story short, you can click on transform data just so you see some basic things on how to remove and change some things. Once you do transform data, you have a screen like mine. Look at this highlighted part. That means the 4 tables that you have. Once you have that, click on the date. Make sure you have your date highlighted. Right. We do not want, we are not interested in this month. Why? Because it's a constant column. We just left it there just so you learn how to delete a certain column. So if you have a column and okay, first thing first, there are some times that you would want to change the data type. So in Excel, there are some columns that you already know that the content is in number, but for one reason or the other, it's reading character. So if you highlight it and come to data, this space, right? You would see, if you drop it down, to tell you the data type. And in your case, if it's not reading dates, make sure you select dates. If it's not reading dates, I can confirm that it's reading dates at my end, but in your own case, if it's not reading dates, make sure you select dates. If you move from dates to the fourth column, there's a fourth column that we call months. Click on it. We made it, we just left it there as a constant because we want to learn how to remove columns. So right click on it and click on remove. Right click the fourth column, month, so not month name and not month number, the fourth column month, right click on it and delete. Once you are done with that, go back to your queries to your left, the very first column to your left, where you have the date, the geo, the product, and the sales. Select product, right? When you select product, you have a column called product, just product, the second column. For the new guys, is anyone following? Or I'm moving pretty fast?
Yes, we are following.
Okay, thank you. So on the second column where we have products, right, you'll notice that, we've left date. I clicked on product to get here. So there's now a second column that we have the name called products. So it's concatenated with a string. What I mean by that is you see the name of the actual product is for the first three, maximum RP, and maximum RS. It now has a concatenation of 01, 02, 01, and so on. So you may want to split this just so you have the 01 in another column and the name should stand alone because it's now well represented this way. If you have any issues like that, you can just come here and come to this space here, click on split column. When you click on split column, it gives different options. So you see, do you want to split it by number of characters or by position? In our case, we can see that there's a delimiter in between those characters, and the delimiter is just a dash, which is a hyphen. So once you have that, you can click on by delimiter. A page like this pops up. It will ask you what is the exact delimiter? Is it the space colon and so on? If you check the default delimiter options, you will not see this hyphen. So choose the custom and type hyphen on the second text box. Once you do that, just click OK. You will notice that it will split it into two columns. Those suffix would move to another column, and you will have what we call product 1 and product 2. In our case, I do not even need the number at all. So the same way we've learned how to delete a column, go and highlight the product 2 column, remove it, and you go back to product 1, double click on the name, and make sure you remove the .1 at the end of the product so that the name still reads product for product. If you've been able to do that successfully, you can now close and apply. If you want to see the difference between close and apply and close, just go through this the session yesterday. Close and apply just means I want to save and continue my work. So to the top left, just underneath the file here, just click on close and apply. It will close it and load the data sets. We're almost there. Once we do the relationships, we start to build the dashboards. Okay, so once it's loaded successfully, check to your far right, you see that you have 4 different, the sheets that we moved in are in now. So going straight into it, click on modeling. click on modeling here. Once you click on modeling, you have managed relationships. Modeling managed relationships, and there are some rules that you need to follow to be able to do relationship. The very important one is if you have 4 objects, if you have n number of objects, I mean the tables, the sheets that will move. In our case, we have 4: date, geo, product, and sales. You must at least have 3 relationships. You must define at least 3 relationships. What it means is there's a relationship between a sales and product, sales and geo, sales and date. In some cases, you might have relationship in between too. So you can just go ahead and check. But Power BI creates relationships by default. And it does this if you follow the two conditions. The very first one is that the name of the, you are joining 2 tables. The name of the source and target, I mean the name of the header or the column name must be the same, and the content must be the same too. Not all. It's not either or. Both of them must be the same. So once it sees that, you see in the case of sales, joining sales to product, the product ID, the same way it's written on the sales table is the same way it's written on the product. Same thing for sales and geo. So the last one that is absent is what? Sales and date. So to do that, click on new. Once you do new, you see an empty page like this. That very first one that has the gray background, drop it down because we want to create a relationship between sales and date. Pick the sales. What are we joining? What column are we using to join sales to date? Obviously, it's the date column. You cannot join sales to date on product ID because it's that the date column on the sales is telling us the date the transaction occurred, and on the date column too, just drop date and pick date. Make sure you highlight, you pick sales on the first one, you pick date on the other one, and make sure you highlight dates and dates for both objects. And when you click OK, you would have 3 relationships created. When you're done, close this up, and then we are ready to create our reports. Did any of the new guys follow through? Like, are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thanks. Okay, now we will just, I think we stopped here yesterday. So we stopped here. We created just these 3 charts, and I'll be straight into it. And I think we can conclude that before 1. Right. What are we looking at achieving? We've moved the objects into Power BI desktop, and we've learned how to import the data into Power BI desktop, and also we've learned how to create relationships. And while importing, we've learned how to transform the data by issuing some manipulation commands to do some of those things that will probably be struggling to do on Excel because of space constraints and other reasons too. So, and I'm happy to say all of those things that we did on Power BI would not have any effect on the source data. The Excel will remain Excel. It has loaded this table into the base for Power BI. Okay, going straight into creating reports, the task we have ahead is that we want to create a 2017 sales revenue performance for the company called Van Astel. So for you to even say 2017, you don't know if you have all that 2017 data, and although we know that we have 2016 data there. So there's something you need to first do. At the time that you're creating any of these reports, once you know you have all of these things planned out, you have to create what we call a slicer, just to filter anything you create on that report to be 2017 going forward. So what do you do in that case? You see this visualization with funnel. Can you see this one? Right? Just click on it. Once you click on it, you should have a screen like mine. So it's showing you the anytime you select any visualization like this, it tells you the type of the type of visual that you've picked. So it's waiting for you to issue the column that you want to filter your reports by. And what are we trying to do? We want to filter our reports by date. So you go to the date table and you check the date column. All right. You go to the date table and check the date column. So once you do that, you have a slicer like this. So it's either you slice by just sliding left, right to get to your desired state, or you can even click on it. What's our desired state? We want to be able to slice, create a 2017 report. Clearly from seeing this, you are seeing 1/1/2016. This is showing from January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2017. In that case, this is going to be 2 years. So change the from to January 2017, January 1st, 2017. You will see that this slider automatically adjusts itself. All right. So once we have that, you can highlight it, drag it all around, but because it's a prompt, you can put it anywhere. In my case, I want to put it at the top right. We are not done. I'll just go quickly into it. It's just, this is the only one I'm going to do it with. You can do, remember I spoke about this funnel, that it's your closest button in terms of formatting. You probably want to give it a background. So once you go to format, but make sure it is highlighted like this. You have the full rectangle edge by it, and you go to, maybe for example, you want to give it a background of blue. Come here, you select the color of choice. You can even do custom color. The date input is in black. You can go, the font text, you cannot see the 2017, and also you can change it to white. Even where you have the white, if you do not like the background, you can change the background to anything of choice. You can just to play around with that formatting to get what is obtainable there. But remember what I said, that this is the prompt I was talking about, that you can decide to change from 2017, from 34, the end date, you can change it from 31st of December 2017 to 28th of February 2016. So it will only show 2 months in February. That's dynamic. But if you want to just, as we've said, we only want 2017, you can drag the same date to this filter and pick 2017, but it will be static. You can't change it again. That is the benefit of a slicer. After we've done that, there's now a need for us to create a report of month-on-month performance of revenue for Van Astel as a manufacturing company. So to do that, there are different charts that can depict this. So, and this, anything that has to do with trend, is either you do a line chart or you do a bar chart that just shows the actual position month on month and the like. So I'm going to do another form of annotation on the 5th column, 2nd row, which is this one that I've just done now. You can just make sure that before you click on it, your cursor, click on any place on the white canvas, because the way it works is if you highlight any visual and you select any other thing, it's going to override what you've done there. So I'm going to undo. Make sure you click on anywhere on the white canvas, have a fresh page, and come here to pick the other visuals that we want to work with. Once you pick that, it stands on its own. And like I said, anytime you pick a visual for the first time, it's going to show you what is obtainable. This is a line and graph bar. What are we trying to depict? We want to have month-on-month revenue. So for example, imagine the first bar to be revenue. The bar, I'm not talking about the line. I will explain what the line means. The bar to represent the revenue for the month of January, the next one for the month of February, next one for the month of March, and so on till you get to December for 2017. And the line, because we have another unit that we can use to represent, as I'm making money, I'm getting a count. I'm getting a count of transaction by unit. I'm saying 4 people came to do transaction of 1 million each. It means that for the in the month of March, it means that my revenue for the month of March is 4 million, and the total transaction in terms of unit is 4. But maybe the next month, just 1 people came and the person brought 10 million. So 1 people is given. So you want to be able to see Do I have more units in the month than certain months than revenue, or vice versa? So that's the reason why this chart is best at that, to show if you're trying to get insights of two different metrics for a certain trend. You use line and clustered column charts, which we are about to use. So how do you now do that? First thing first, we are saying is the trend of month on month. Under the same date, select your month name, right? You probably not see any effect. Drop down the sales table. Select what? The revenue and also the units. However, you see the units, please pay attention here. The unit has come to join the column values here. Not that it is wrong, no problem, it is fine. You can try to measure. So if it's like a revenue versus budget, the budget will probably be close to it, but because the unit does not have the same scale as the revenue could be in millions and the units could be in tens. So that's the reason why you are seeing the units to be very, very tiny at this side. So instead of having it to measure it side by side, you can drag it from the column sales here and drop it on line value. Let me do that again. I have it here. I had it here before. I'm saying drag it here just so from month, you can see the deep blue is representing the units, while the sky blue it's doing the revenue. However, we are not done. There were two things we discussed yesterday. First thing first. Somebody is raising up his hand. Can you ask your questions quickly?
Hi, Bello, you can unmute your mic and ask a question.
Okay. Okay, that's right. All right. Moving on. You would see that this does not really show. It's sorting. This is sorting. It's showing month-on-month trend based on the highest revenue, right? That's not what we want. We want to see it from the month. I mean, from January to February to March. I mean, show me what has happened from the first month till now, so I can see. It tells me a story that this is how we've done month on month from the beginning of the year till now. So to do that, you see there's an ellipsis here. There's a 3 dots on top of the bar here. Let me show you this guy here, right? So just make sure you select this guy. First thing first, let's sort it in ascending order. You can see the yellow bar will show you that that's what it is as we speak. It's sorting it in ascending order. So change it to in descending order. So pick the ascending. Once you pick it, it will change it this way. But you see that it's close to what we want, which is what? January, February. But the third month is supposed to be March. It's showing June. It means that there's something wrong still. So what it means is it is sorting this guy in ascending order of the revenue. But that's not what we want. We want it to sort it in ascending order of the months. So you go back to the same place, right? Go to sort by. You will see that it's sorting it by revenue. Now change it to sort by month. Once you change it to sort by month, it will still maintain the ascending order, but it's sorting it in terms of letters. You know, A is before B, so that's why you have April before F, February before J, January, and this is not what we still want to do. So we would now take an important lesson on how to sort a certain column by another column. So what we are saying is, for all of the months in the year, January, February, we already know that January is the first month, February is the second month, and all. So that's the reason why if you go back to the Excel sheet and you check the dates table, there's a column called months. For every January, the month number, there's a column called month number, sorry. This is column B. For every month, for every January, you have a 1. If you go to the end, December, you have a 12. So we'll now use this month number to sort this so that it will take it one after the other. Okay, so to do that, you come here, make sure you highlight this. I'm talking about this space. This guy. By highlighting, I mean just select it. Once you select it, you have a column 2 that will pop up, which is this. It will automatically bring you here, but this is what you are supposed to click on. This icon here. So once you click on it, it will ask you what column do you want to use it to sort it by. So you have month number. Once you click month number, it will affect that that chart, and it will do what we want it to do. Okay, that is that about this. In some cases too, you can see that you're not seeing the value at all. So you can leave that. That is not even, if you want to do that, you go to format, make sure it's highlighted, go to format. The data labels is off, so you can switch it on. So at every chart, you can see the exact figure. Even without doing that, if you hover your mouse around it, it will show you what the figure is for that month. So that's the first chart. The second chart is the one that represents revenue by manufacturer. So this has revenue by month name is a trend. We want to do revenue by manufacturer. To do that, so sorry guys, this is the last one. This was where we stopped yesterday, so you can start to pick from here. So this highlighted one, the 6th column, 3rd row, is what we call the tree map. So what it means is, if you make sure you click on the white canvas before you do this, don't forget. So if you do this, the bigger the square or rectangle, the more the metrics you are trying to represent. So if I build anything on this chart, the manufacturer that has the biggest one is the one that gave us the highest revenue. So to do that, you select revenue from sales. Manufacturer is not in geo, is not in date, is in product. Manufacturer is another another attribute of a product. All products will have their category and manufacturer. So who manufactured a certain product is the manufacturer. So you select manufacturer from product and select revenue from sales. You have a chart like this, right? I hope you can see it. So clearly, what this is saying is there's a certain Van Astel. Remember that we as a data analyst, we do not only have Van Astel manufacturing data. We have other manufacturers like the Natural DLP. We just want to do some anonymization and give analysis survey response to say this is how you are doing against your competing product and other manufacturers too. So this is what we have. Van Astel has, if you look at it closely, Van Astel has about 50% of the entire revenue for the year 2017. And in some cases too, you may be asking why, if our filter is showing from January to December and we are not seeing other months from July to December, it's because that is what is available on the data. The filter does not necessarily mean that is what the actual data is. But we'll get there. I'll explain that when we get to that level. So now, the last thing we discussed yesterday before we called it a day was what we call cross-filtering, right? We have two different charts, and this is where that application of the relationship, why you have to get relationship to have it on check before you even start to build all of these reports. I mean, the importance of this relationship would become clearer here. Remember that there's no relationship between the product and the months, but there's a relationship between sales and products and sales and months. So there's a thing that we call cross-filtering. And in cross-filtering, we are saying on a certain chart, you can try to get insights into what is available on the other one. So I will explain better now. You are seeing breakdown of revenue by manufacturer You're seeing Van Astel to be the highest revenue generator as regards manufacturer. So for Van Astel too, you want to see, okay, what is the trend for Van Astel like month on month from January to June? We already know you're the highest, but which of the months we can see generally, irrespective of the product, March is the highest for the year, for the entire industry. So if you highlight Van Astel from the other chart, which is revenue by manufacturer, you would see a behavior of a shaded part and also a faint part. The shaded part, which is the highlighted one, is showing you a further breakdown of what you have there. So what this means is Van Astel did 2.3 out of the entire 4.8 for the entire industry. I'll take it again. Go and unclick. This was where we started from. Now let's leave Van Astel. Chorus, which is this pink one, is the least manufacturer for the entire industry. If you want to see how Chorus did month on month, you click on Chorus, it shows you the shaded parts. So how did Chorus do against the entire revenue for the month of March? The same thing for June. We have the entire revenue for the month of June is almost 4 million. Chorus did only 212,000 out of that 4 million. So it could be as a result of different things. So we'll get there on how to even generate insight directly without even trying to say what costs it. But that is at the service layer. So I'm happy to tell you this is vice versa. And the reason why this can affect the other one is because there's a relationship between the facts table and the other conformed dimensions. So because sales revenue is connected to the date dimension and revenue is also connected to products, you can do this. The same thing applicable here. You can say for the month of June, how did each of these manufacturer behave? So once you click on the bar that represents June, you will see the shaded part will tell you that Van Astel did 2 million out of $11 million in the month of June. Same thing for natural and the like. So that was where we stopped yesterday. I don't know if there are questions that came up while I was trying to give the summary. Wally?
Okay, thank you, Aziz. I have a question. While you were trying to do the analysis of the sales revenue by month, especially in trying to sort the parameters from January to June, I noticed that you had to go back to the source data to look at the numbering that you give each month. Like for January, there was 1, up to December, that was 12. So if I didn't have that numbering, does that mean I won't be able to sort it properly?
Yes, exactly. And
okay, so that means my data must have numbering. Is
absolutely.
that what it means?
Yes, your data must have numbering. There are other ways that you can do it. Okay, I will give response to that. You know, there are steps into this. We've already prepared this data. So if this data is not in place like this, it means you can go back to it. You can create data too on the fly here. You do not need to necessarily go back to the Excel, but you can go there. There are other ways you can do it. For example, before you go back to give it a number and sort it by an extra column, you know, Power BI was doing something automatically to say April before February, A before F, and it's sorting it based on alphabetical order, right? You can now you can find a way to do some manipulation to say, because you know that January is before February, you put a lot of space, maybe 12 spaces before you write your January, Jan. When you get to February, you put maybe 11 spaces, because Power BI and all systems see spaces to come before. So if you have space January and you have January, it will give you space January before January. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Let me go back there. If I do this, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Right. If you have this, I can do, I'll copy this guy here. I'm copying it out just so I can explain what I mean to you. But in your case, you do not need to copy it out. You just edit this guy and you give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay.
Power BI will see this one before this one. This red one, this blue one. I'm just telling you the type of manipulation. The blue one, Power BI will see this blue one to come before this red one. So anywhere there is January, you can make it have a lot of spaces more than the one of February, more than, so it's part of those manipulations that you can do. But the best one and the cleanest form is to just have another column that will sort the month's name the way you want it. And don't forget that this is applicable to a whole lot of different type of data. It may not just be months. It may be something different entirely that you want to sort. Just find a way to have an ID that will...
A unique identifier, basically.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Another person is raising up.
Hello.
Yeah, Sulaiman and Obi. Okay. Sulaiman,
Hello,
go first.
Sulaiman. Yeah, so what you just explained is that the higher the number of space, the earlier it will come. So if I have 12 space, it will come first. Then the one with 11 spaces will come next, 10. Like
Absolutely,
that, right?
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, bro. Obi.
Yeah, hi Aziz. So thanks a lot. Just to clarify, right? Does it mean that basically Power BI has a like pre-installed way of ordering or arranging things? And if it does, what are those ways apart from alphabetical order or in terms of space, like you said? And then what are some other ways? That's one. Then two, does it also mean that in case you want to, maybe it's not even months or something, maybe there's something peculiar to the data that you're analyzing and you want to sort of arrange it in a certain order, and you just create another another column and number it like 1 to 1 in ascending order or in whatever order you like. That's the kind of what we're talking about.
Okay. I see this is becoming more interesting. And for the people that joined yesterday, we are taking, we are moving from here. And I'll answer your questions in 2 ways. And I'll even try to even show it in form of practical for this other one. First thing I would say is, it's not just a Power BI thing. At least I've worked on over maybe 15 different databases, not even a BI tool like this, and I can tell you that in terms of ordering, space is being identified as space comes before any item. If you have different spaces before a character, space would come first in ascending order. So it's not a Power BI thing, it's a system thing. I hope I've been able to clarify the first one. The second one, it does not have to do, like I said to Wale, it doesn't necessarily have to do with month name. And I want us to, I can quickly just show us what I'm talking about. So let me take this back to the way it was. And let me even go out of months and say, I'm coming. You see this guy? What I did was Control C and Control V. I copied it and pasted it, right? And I want to show it in this form. Maybe just this bar chart. Can you see? Vanna is sorting this chart by revenue. Let us go and sort it by manufacturer. He's sorting it in ascending order by manufacturer already. Let's change it to ascending order, just the way we did for the months. It's doing A, C, N, P, and V. Right. If this is not the order that you want, if you want a specific order, and which we will all agree on the call, maybe I'll just get somebody, Obi, you ask the question, you'll be the one to give us the order, the way you want it. Maybe you want Pyram to come first next to Van Astel, next to Natural and Cross. So let's go there and you see how you manipulate data. There's nothing, you have a product ID here, but do not forget that this uniquely identifies products. It does not uniquely identify the manufacturer. So what we are saying is, you can now create, let me create what I would call MID. MID means manufacturer ID. That's why I want to that's the name I want to call it. In that case, I want to do what we call filtering on Excel. When I'm filtering it, I want to first filter Pyrum. I said this Pyrum should be the first one that comes. I come here, I'll put 1, 1, 1 or something, and I'll fill up this guy. All the Pyrums should be 1. I go back up. Which one is the next one? Maybe Natura. I pick Natura. I do 2, 2, 2. Remember, there was nothing like MID at the point of creating, importing these data sets. Come on. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to maybe I'll just stop here just so we do not waste so much time. Let me just do 1, 2, 3. I can finish it though. 3. And, is this? Natura is 4. Natura. Cross is 4. There's a manufacturer ID already. Sorry, there's a manufacturer ID, but I don't want to use that. And let me just use what we created. For the manufacturer ID before, you see Van Aster will probably be number 7, so I don't want to use that. So Van Aster is the 5th manufacturer that I have here. Okay, so if you save this sheet and you come back to Power BI, right? You see this product table. There's nothing like MID. Yeah, just by this product, somewhere here, you see. Yeah, on more options, click on it and try to refresh the data. It goes to the source. Whatever changes you made there, it tries to bring it in. All things being equal, it should load MID. You can see I have MID now. So now go highlight the same way we did for that one. Highlight the manufacturer and sort by MID. It will sort it based on the numbering that I've given it there. Can you see Pyrum before Natura, before Aliqui, before Chorus, and Van Aster? Does it clarify?
Yes, it does from my end.
All right, Obi. Okay, moving on. Before we even go too far, you may want to even see your total revenue, irrespective of the dimensions you are breaking it down to, be it dates, product, or location. You want to see it at a glance. What's the total revenue that you have? So there's an important visuals that we have here that is called a card. It has 1, 2, 3 like this. So all you need to do is make sure you click on the white canvas, pick the card, and select revenue. So I want to see the total revenue irrespective of the date or whatever I pick. So you see I have a card here, make it real small because it's not, you can just highlight, make it and put it anywhere of choice. Maybe your logo will be there, so you can just do this, give it a background. I'm not going to focus on color now because we are 40 minutes away and we've not even started the class. So, but we started now, we didn't do this yesterday. Pick the card and put it. So this is saying total revenue for the year 2017 so far is 22.3 million. The same cross-filtering will affect that. So if I click Van Astel, it will tell me what Van Astel did for the year, which is 11.33, right? The same thing, if I pick March from the other one, it will tell me what we did in March to be 4.8 million, right? You can hold your control button if you want to do what's the total for Natura and Harlequin. Hold down the control button, so it will sum the two for you to be 6.69. Clear? So that's the card. So now let's follow. This actually is not on the PDF slides that we'll have for the training. So I see that this to be an important one, just so without even going through anything, what is our position? Before you start to break it down into anything, what's our position at a glance? Trying to open. Okay, so we've done this. Okay, so now we want to display sales by segment. So there's a segment, all of those products, they have segment on the product table. Another important thing, especially for people that have been working on reporting and all on Excel, in your own case, you may have a data set that is not broken down into 4. If you have a data set that everything you have is on just one single sheet, you are good to go. You won't just bother about, you will not give yourself a headache on relationships. Load the only Excel sheet and start to get insight from it. So for the segments, the standard is click on anywhere on the white canvas. We want to do a pie chart or a donut chart. So I'm doing a donut. I'll pick the segment and the revenue. Right. So it's showing segment and revenue, and there are different things you can do with this segment and revenue. I'll just take us through two key things. You see, this segment and revenue is showing you see automatically you have what we call a legend. So this legend is showing you the color, the representation of all of these colors here. The one with purple is moderation and all sorts. So what we are saying is there are some that are kind of modeled up here. They are very little, and in some cases you may not want to even compare the likes of segment and this thing because it may be unfair. For example, bank branches in the country are trying to compare the ones that are affected by insurgents and maybe for one reason or the other it's not being open, and you're comparing it with a very active one in Victoria Island. So in some cases you can exclude based on choice. So how do you do that? Make sure it is highlighted. These filter parts, remember I said it's static, so once you remove it, nobody can change it. You just come to segments, right? It's either you check the ones that you want. You can select all and uncheck. If you see clearly, this one with light blue is all season. You can hover the mouse around it to see all season, youth, and regular. So you can take out regular, youth, and all season. So you know what it does? It will automatically plot the remaining segments against each other. Not that it will remove them and it will now plot the rest against the entire organization. No, it will plot. So this is what I'm saying. You see that moderation is 38.49. if you don't select anything, moderation is 36.84. Why? Because it's comparing moderation against every other person, as in the entire organization, the entire segment, all of the segments. But if you pick a certain one, it will now recompute. Since we've taken a regular youth and what's that one? All season. Since we've taken a regular youth and all season, it will now recompute and compare just these remaining 5 amongst each other and tell you who is performing the most. That is one. You can undo this by selecting or deleting that. So that other way is, okay, I don't want to, in this case, you may probably have tens or even hundreds of segments, but you're not interested in how they are doing against each other. You just want to see the top 5 performing segments. And how do we do that? Go to revenue. I'm sorry, this same segment that we have is still the same place, which is segment. You drop it down. You see the filter type. There's basic, there's advanced, and there's what we call top N. You can select top N. And when you select top N, just you see, is either you want to do a top N or a bottom N. In our case, we want to start with top 3 or top 4 or top 5. Since this is 7, let's even do top 4. So I'll select my top as against bottom. Top is the default. You type 4, right? So he's asking you, what value do you want to use to sort this segment by? So I'm saying I want it sorted by revenue. I want to see the top 4 revenue. So you drag the revenue and drop in by value. You click on apply filter, it will give you your top 4. Then again, you see that it's sorting it by, the scale is against the 4 alone, not by everyone. Another thing is, as against doing color for each of all of these things, you can just put background color entirely. Click on anywhere on the white canvas. Go to format here, right? Go to page background, give it a color of choice. And you adjust the transparency to suit what you want. If you pick any color of choice, please. Don't mind me. I don't know. I don't do makeup. Okay, so going into it, right. So you can adjust all of these things just so it fits. So I can decide to do this, since it's just that you come here. Alignment is important, so it's easily readable now. So, like I said, you can work on something, you can put them together. Another important thing that I would like to take us through is this. Okay. Okay. Another important thing I want us to look at is what we call graph. So we have location details, and for some of the BI tools that we have, if you do not have the latitude and longitude, you'll not be able to plot a map without having those two. But in this case, in Microsoft Power BI, it leverages on the power of Bing. Bing is owned by Microsoft, just like we have Google Map, and it just goes straight to this with just the city name and the location name. It plus it in the graph. So by doing that, you can go to Geo, and under Geo, just select country. We want to see the behavior of the countries by revenue. So you select country and revenue. You see, in this case, you can. That's another thing I should have even mentioned. You can select the attributes. I mean the columns that you want to plot anything by before selecting the charts of choice. In some cases, to suggest. In some cases, to just go into table and you convert it to what you want. So sorry, let me do state. Change it to state. What do we have in the system? I think it's state, yes. Yeah, we have states. Okay. So, not seeing anything. Okay, I see why. This state is meant to be in the location. So let's take it again. So just like, because I selected country before, so you select states and you select revenue. So you see three different circles, and they represent the three different states that we have on the data set. So the bigger it is, the more sales that happened for that states. Remember, I said you have to maximize the space. Okay, so this is revenue by state. However, what another thing you can do is for each of the states, you can show the name of the states, like the legend is not showing. Right center. You can go to click on it and go to category, switch the category on, just so it shows you what each of them represents. You can change the color to say California, I want it to be another color, Texas another color. So I switched on the categories, and I want data colors. I want to you open the data color and you try to show all. So when you do show all, it will show all of the categories, so you can make it any color of choice. So there are questions. Map is not showing on my PC for the revenue by states. It's showing just a blank space. It will come, it's either internet or operating system. So, but make sure you are using map. There are two things. You have field map or map. And confirm that your Power BI is the latest one. It will show. I used to have that error too. So that's that. So for each of the states too, you can now, you may want to go back to this place. Here, 1 second. It was here before. it did all the formatting here. I'm saying you should come back to this place where we have the fields and all. So you come here. I'm saying let's break the states by revenue. Let's break them down into segments. So under this legend, drag this segment and drop it by the legend, so you can see clearly. You see clearly for each of them, it broke them down into further categories, right? So what does this mean? We can blow it open. You know, it may be tiny. Let me show you. Let me try to make it big. You can close all of this. And also you can do what we call focus mode for each of the charts. Once you come here, this place, for each of the charts. Once you come here, you can call it up. And what it means is, you see, for California, for the state California, it's saying moderation still has the highest revenue. So it's further breaking all of these things down too. For each of the states, that's what it means. And when you're done with this focus mode, you can take it back. So you have this. The cross filtering that we've been talking about, it still applies here. I click Van Astel, it affects the map, it affects everything, right? I click the month May, same thing. You see the revenue is now 4.65 for the month of April. If I can come here and pick New York, just New York, you see, that's what we have. Any question? Okay.
Hi, Aziz. We've got
Yes.
A bit of a challenge. Some people can't access the map.
Okay.
Map isn't showing on their system. I don't know if it's a function of their.
It's a system function. It's a Bing function. It's a Bing function. No, like I said, it's not Google Map. It's not. This is owned by Microsoft. Sometimes I'm sure. Just leave it open and continue with your work. So in your case, if you do not have anything, even I would advise you leave it, or you change that chart to another thing just so you don't miss out on every other thing. Because there's nothing, I used to have that, like I said, and it's either of two things. The internet is not connecting to the Bing directly, or it's a version of the Power BI that you have. But if you are sure that you have the latest version, just leave it and let's move on. It's a Bing thing.
Okay.
Can I move on?
Some of us are not fans of Bing. And then some of us are not huge fans of Bing. Microsoft always wants to bring us back.
Of course, I prefer Google Maps, but that's what we have.
All right.
Okay. There's this next chart that I want us to use the natural query language to do, and I'll tell us why. Remember, I said this is a growing community and it gets updated every month as against the normal Microsoft suites that you have to wait for 2018, 2020, 2021 annually. I mean an annual update before you can do a couple of things. So now the natural NLP, I mean the question and answer functionality that used to be on the service layer is now available in the desktop version which we are using. So now click on anywhere on the white canvas. Just click once, don't double click. Click once to make sure that you are not changing anything on your system. I mean the charts that you've created before. Right. Let's say you have a boss that is never interested in in all of these charts. As much as this chart looks good to him or her, maybe you want to represent these things in tabular formats. Let me see the figures. Let these figures just pop up at every time I try to open one. And when I'm done seeing the actual figure, I can now make more sense to breaking it down into dimension. Long story short, you want to still create tables as against just the chart and all. And let's say we want to create this table by revenue by states and segments too, just like we have in the chart. There's a table here that we can do it, but I want to use that style of natural language processing to do it. So double click on anywhere on the canvas. You should have a pop-up like me that is saying, ask a question about your data. So do what we call total, I'm sorry. You can type total too, but make sure you follow the keywords, revenue. As I'm typing total revenue, once I'm in as much the, it gave me 22.23 automatically, right? By segment. You can expand it. You can see by what did we call that? State, without dragging and dropping anything. You can see. You now click this, turn this into a standard visual. That's it. Can you see? This is another representation of this guy. I'm still yet to convert it to table, but because of some people, maybe I was too fast to, while I was doing this, I will go ahead to do that same representation again by table. Double click anywhere. It pops up and you say total revenue, right? By segments, right? Just so you know that it's not pre-filled, you can do it by states or by anything. Change it to anything at your end by segment. Do you get that? It shows this still. But I do not want this chart. I want it by table. So once you say by table, there's a table that we call matrix. Just select the matrix. It automatically does this for you. So now see this. See this button here. If you don't click it, it's just showing you a value. It's showing you an output, right? But it's just giving you an insight into the question you've asked. But if you want to make it a permanent chart on your report, click on that button that says, turn this question and answer results into a standard visual. Click on it. Everybody's happy. That's what you have. And every other thing that you can do with these guys, you can do with it too. Like you want to change the style of the, table, you go to format as usual, change it to alternate rows, something like this. Change it to bold header, change it to contrast alternate rows, sparse, condensed, this maybe. The blue color code, right, is telling you, is giving a rank to it. So for example, if you choose California as a case study, you see that moderation is the highest. So he has the bar. So he's showing you the percentage of moderation next to convenience, next to this. So the same thing for Texas. So it's just telling you the highest based on the segment that you've done. And we can go ahead to change this guy to city. Let's see what is in city. You can change the state to city. Do you understand what I've just done? You see that you're not seeing any city there, but okay, let me take it off. Please watch this. Watch this, please. I only have states, right? But for every state, there are cities, just like we have Lagos and we have cities in Lagos. You want to further break all of these things down to the cities, right? You can go ahead to add city. Once you add city, drag and drop city under states. It will create an hierarchy. So what does this mean? If you click on that plus sign, it will show all of the cities under California for you. If your interest is not California, if you want to see the breakdown of all of the cities in New York, you do this. It shows all of this. Just by giving those Excel, just the simple Excel, it gives you insight. It breaks them down into details, so you can see where you are performing, where you need to work on, and all sorts. Another interesting thing is for all of these charts, you can see the underlying data by just clicking on the more options and say show as table. So it will show you the chart, it will show you the table to underneath. So many things that you can do. Our page is full and we have so many things to other things, and I want you to just take this further. I want to believe Tayo shared the COVID-19 cases as at yesterday. I mean, Tayo should have shared it this morning. I mean, the latest COVID-19 cases worldwide, you can play around with it and try to come up with a dashboard that says total recovery, total this and that. So, and for people who we sent the links to, you can just drop your email, or better still, register on the training link, just so we'll have your details, and Tayo, my colleague, would share with you. You're not done, and there are two other things that, because there are two things are missing. First thing first, a brand. We need to brand this to show what this report is for in terms of the logo. And the last thing would be to give it a befitting title. We already know that this is meant for Van Astel, and that was why we shared the logo as part of the files that we sent. And we know that this report is the 2017 performance for Van Astel. So you go to insert to let's first add the logo. Go to insert and you do image to the top right here. Click on image. Look for where you downloaded the logo. Just pick the logo. Comes like this. And I would say you drag it here and adjust it to fit in here. That's the logo. And you can do the same thing . You can do the same thing for the title. Go to insert, but in your, for title you choose text box and not image. Select the text box and then type 2017 performance something. So you can do the basic thing, highlight it, make it bold, centralize it. You can change the color to color of choice, maybe black or whatever. I don't know. Increase it to, in my case, I want to make it 32. I can expand it, adjust it, and paste it on top. I think we are ready. And that's it. I think this is the only one that is, because I made the background blue, I can switch out the background just so we have, I'll take it back, whatever. It's not about the color. Okay. Last two things I will discuss before I leave the floor open for questions and answer. You would see, because you may have multiple pages, you can rename this page to anything of choice, training or whatever, just so you know that that is what you have here. And when you create another page, you can rename that to another thing. Another thing you can do is, for this page that you've created, you can duplicate it too by right-clicking and do duplicate. So you have a duplicate of that page. Okay. And let me show us the difference between this guy that I said is dynamic, the slicer, and the filtering. So you see that we put this slicer on January 1st, 2017 to 31st December. You can decide to just pick the end date to be April. Okay, I'm done with the entire year. I just want to see May 31st. If you notice, there's no more June here. This figure that was 24 has come back to 18. So you can adjust to, you can still adjust. You can say, so I'm adjusting, it's taking me back. And it's affecting the report. Last but not the least, you can now make sure you save. Make sure you save. In my case, I want to save. Yes. Okay, I have to close it. Okay, so I have this saved now, and I think the last thing I wanted to discuss was that functionality of exporting. So you can export even from here. You see that we didn't even go to service at all because it's a paid service. So you can export this to PDF. On the service, you can export to PowerPoint. So you imagine having a report of about 10 pages and it's putting it together for you in this format. Once you are done, you do not have to do anything. Once the data is uploaded in a certain format that you want, and it's, updated, all you just need is to export and send to wherever you want to send it to. Any question, please? Hello? Martins, mic check.
Yes, Aziz.
All right, that's it. That's the end of the session for today. And there are a couple of things that we may even need to still do. And you can just watch out for more of the sessions. I think Gabby would take us through another session that is not data related in the next 2 weeks. We'll share an email. But for this, we would definitely follow through and see how we can have a follow-up session to do some of the complex things before we even go into the other arms of BI, which is predictive and prescriptive and all sorts before we start to engage on other projects and the likes. So over to you. Thank you everyone for joining again today, and the floor is open for feedbacks, questions, and anything you feel you could have done better. Thank you. Martins.
Yes, thank you so very much, Aziz. Been talking for pretty much 2 hours nonstop. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone has got anything to add. I see a couple of people unmuted their mics. If you've got any questions or any comments or feedback, please feel free to share. You could also send us an email. I mean, if there are programs or training courses or topics that you'd be hoping that we could bring on stream, please do share. And of course, we appeal to you to follow us so that it's easier for us to get information across. I think that's pretty much. Gabriel, I don't know if you've got anything else to add, so we can call this a wrap. Mic check, Gabriel, are you there? Okay, I think it's possible he's.
I can hear you.
Issues.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. I just thought if you had anything else to add, like if you had anything else to share with the team.
Okay, yeah. I've shared some of our social media handles to everyone. We hope you follow us. We hope you're part of this family, and we really appreciate your contribution from now henceforth, at least, to make this a big deal and a force to reckon with in Nigeria and West Africa, possibly. So we thank you for joining us today, at least throughout this training program. We hope the next program will be more enlightening and, of course, more contributed to your career, So thank you very much for joining us today.
And please, thanks, Gabby. Please visit our website and join the movement. Sign up as a contributor. We've got a couple of projects coming on board, and we're really keen to get as many volunteers as we can, so that this once we hit the ground running, we wouldn't struggle with finding resources. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. I think I got a question from Abiba saying, are the 3 data sets different? Yes. You have 3 data sets. I'm sure you're referring to the COVID-19 data sets. So one is for total confirmed cases across different countries for different days. One is for total confirmed deaths, and the other one is recovery per year. So you can just imagine putting things together on a single dashboard to show the death rate and all. So some of the things that we because of time that we couldn't do is creating some of those. For example, this death rate I spoke about. Definitely if the total confirmed cases X and the death number is Y. So doing a ratio of Y to X to how to create it without going back to Excel and creating all forms of measures and columns at the face of Power BI. So, but like I said, be sure that there will be more. Thank you for having me for the 2 days. And we'll be glad once you have a good understanding of this, your first dashboard. We appreciate if you can share this, especially the COVID-19 dashboards. You can share it on our social media and if you can reach out. I will share, definitely we'll share this, some of the materials, and I'll reach out personally to everyone. I'll share my details. You can reach out to me if you require further assistance on a couple of the things that we discussed in the last 2 days, and even more outside the class. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.